Good morning, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Classic Live Album War. Today we've got two British rock and roll greats. It's amazing how many British bands we actually talk about here on this channel. So many of the great rock and roll bands of the past 50 years have been from the UK and surrounding areas. Just kind of works out that way. Not to say there aren't a lot of great bands from the US and other parts of the world, because there certainly are, but just seems we talk a lot about British bands. All right, British rock and roll, a lot of great ones, right? So today we've got from 1977, we've got the Rolling Stones, Love You Live, double record set, double CD set. And from 1980, recorded in 79, released in 1980, we've got the Kinks, One for the Road, another double set, single CD set, but in fact I think both of these are, hold on. Double CD set, runs for the Stones. They crammed the two LPs onto one disc for the Kinks. So let's talk about the first one that was released, okay? Love You Live, all right. One of many live albums from the Stones. Oddly enough, Get Your Ya-Ya's did not make it out of round one, which generally viewed by most people as the best premier, most beloved Rolling Stones live album, but you know, a lot of people do love this one as well. I dig it also. This one was recorded throughout 1975 and 1976 at various places like the Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, Canada, the Inglewood Forum in Los Angeles, California, Earl's Court in London, Les Abattoirs in Paris, and El Mocambo Tavern in Toronto. Okay, all throughout 75, 76, and 77, officially released in September of 1977. This, of course, is the kind of revamped lineup of the Stones, right? After Mick Taylor left, they started to kind of reassemble themselves. We've got Jagger, of course, on lead vocals, harmonica, a little bit of guitar, Keith Richards, guitar and vocals. You got Ronnie Wood on guitar and backing vocals, all right? He's kind of the new guy in the band by this time. Bill Wyman, of course, on bass guitar, and Charlie Watts on drums. But you've also got on this tour, they brought in Billy Preston on all sorts of keyboards and backing vocals. You got Ollie Brown on percussion, Ian Stewart on piano and organ. Okay, so kind of like almost like a Stones big band for the 70s, right? In a weird way. So a lot of great tunes on here. Kicks off after a brief excerpt from Fanfare for the Common Man by Aaron Copland. All right, no, not Emerson, Lake and Palmer. They did it great, but that's an Aaron Copland piece. You got Honky Tonk Woman, all right, kind of a great way to introduce the live set. If You Can't Rock Me, Get Off of My Cloud, little melody. Excuse me. Then you got Happy. Great tune, right? Keith Richards special there. Then Hot Stuff and a rousing Star, okay, to finish off side one. Side two, you got a very good rendition of Tumbling Dice. You got Fingerprint File, You Gotta Move, and You Can't Always Get What You Want. A very strong side two right there. Side three, you got Manish Boy, Cracking Up, Little Red Rooster, and Around and Around. That's kind of like the little bluesy segment, old style rock and roll blues segment of the set. And then over on side four, It's Only Rock and Roll, But I Like It, Brown Sugar, Jumpin' Jack Flash, and Sympathy for the Devil. All right, so then you got, at the back end, you've got 4 stone cold Rolling Stone classics. So kind of like an interesting set list, or an interesting kind of layout of the album, right? So you got some more obscure stuff, you know, you're kicking off a Honky Tonk Man, and then you got, you know, a couple of obscure tracks. All right, you know, side two, you got some, you know, really strong Stone stuff from throughout that part of their, you know, that early part of their career. Side three is kind of the bluesy stuff. And then side four, you got, you know, out and out classics. So, but good performances. You know, again, this is more the, coming off the Mick Taylor years, this is more the kind of Stones that we would know and love going forward to today. The kind of the laid back, kind of lazy, you know, groove laden, just kind of, you know, the Stones as we know it. As opposed to, you know, when Taylor was in the band, a little more precise, a little more polished. Taylor brought the virtuoso guitar work to the band that they never really had. You know, I think arguably Ron Wood is kind of a better fit for this band, although I prefer the stuff with Mick Taylor. The Mick Taylor years for me are just, you know, fantastic. But I think that this ushered in a new era of the Rolling Stones that obviously has held up pretty strong to today, right? So, a good live album, you know. Their best, maybe not their best album, all right? But I think if you look at all the live albums they've got, it's still a pretty spirited one, I think. And I enjoy it a lot. One for the Road from the Kinks, okay, recorded March 3rd, 1979 through March 7th, 1980. So taking on that entire tour there, released here in the U.S. June 4th, 1980, August 1st, 1980. Again, this is like kind of like the second time in a couple days where we've seen a British band's live release actually released here in the U.S. before it was released in their home country, the U.K., right? Kind of strange. But a very, very spirited live album. This is the Kinks kind of ushering out the 70s, bringing in the 80s. The Kinks, by this point in time, have become kind of like an arena rock band, all right? Arguably tasting their greatest success right around those mid-late 70s to the early 80s. Riding high, Kinks becoming kind of like a household name pretty much everywhere. When I think that they always kind of were overshadowed a little bit by, you know, the Beatles, the Stones, and the Who as the big four of the British invasion. So here the Kinks getting their due. Just a raw, rockin', kind of punky, kind of metally live collection of songs here that's just bursting with energy and guitar firepower from Dave Davies, and, you know, showing Ray as the perfect frontman, lyricist, vocalist. So we've got opening up with Hard Way. Okay, and again, these recordings are taken from all over the place. New Jersey, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, I mean, so on and so forth. All sorts of places. Switzerland, you know, Lowell, Mass, all over the place. Zurich. So anyway, back to the set list. We've got Hard Way. Okay, Catch Me Now I'm Falling, an incredible Catch Me Now I'm Falling. Again, a lot of, for me anyway, the definitive versions of many of these tracks are on here. Okay, Catch Me Now I'm Falling, Where Have All the Good Times Gone? Okay, we got Lola, a great Lola with lots of audience participation. This is like Ray Davies at his finest. You know, you can always tell a good frontman. You want to hear a good frontman really working the crowd? Listen to Lola on this album. All right, you got Pressure, 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 I Want Pressure. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Another really cool kind of like, you know, fast-paced rocker, you know, a little bit of a punk vibe. An intense, heavy, metallic All Day and All the Night. All right, if you doubt that a song like All Day and All the Night, or, you know, You Really Got Me, warrant the precursor to metal guitar riffing, you haven't been paying attention. Listen to it right here. It's an old song here in 1979 or whatever it was, done up ridiculously well. All sorts of Dave Davies crushing guitar work on this. Okay, and then you got 20th Century Man, great version of that. Misfits, Prince of the Punks, Stop Your Sobbing. Okay, a great grinding, cranking, low budget. All right, again, the Kinks doing their best kind of hard rock riffing on here. Arena rock sounds flying all over the place. Get On With Your Attitude. Wish I Could Fly Like Superman. Great version of Superman. Okay, National Health. Till the End of the Day. Celluloid Heroes. A great version of Celluloid Heroes. Very cool melodic rocker, kind of proggy. Really, really good tune. You Really Got Me. Victoria, and finishing it all off with a energetic version of David Watts. All right, the lineup of the Kinks here. We got Ray Davies on guitar, harmonica, keyboards, and of course lead vocals. You got Dave Davies on lead guitar, backing vocals, Ian Gibbons, keyboards, backing vocals, the always dependable Mick Avery on drums, and Jim Rodford on bass with some additional keyboards on some of the shows from Nick Newell. All right, so there we have it. Two late 70s, bringing in the 80s live albums from two legendary British bands. Now we come to the point in the video where I've got to pick a favorite. Okay, so while I am overall a much bigger Stones fan than I am of the Kinks, I always really like the Kinks. I did just think the Stones have that body of work that's just, you know, overall hard to keep up with, right? I will say that this, for me, is a no contest. This, for me, is a stellar live album of a band that I think finally realized all their potential and showing how much of a powerhouse live unit they were, taking all those great songs and just doing killer renditions of them and just destroying audiences. For me, and this is a fine live album. I dig it quite a bit. But for me, this is like a 7th round KO by the Kinks. I just think that this is just too potent of a live album. It's precise. It's punishing in spots. It's fun. All right. And it just shows the band at the peak of their powers. And I just think it's a tremendous set list. One killer tune after another. Everything performed impeccably. And, at the time, even we were calling the Kinks and the Stones the elder statesmen of rock. But, man, the youthful energy on this album is just unparalleled. So, for me, like I said, 7th round KO for the Kinks. Thanks to the Stones for playing here. But this is the Kinks' day, in my opinion. But it's not really, me that counts here. It's you guys. So, in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to see a little white circle with a letter I in it. Click on that. Vote for the Stones. Vote for the Kinks. Also go onto our Facebook page and vote there as well. And in 6 days, we will see which one of these moves on to round 3. Will it be the Kinks? Will it be the Stones? It's anybody's guess, but we'll see in 6 days. So thanks for joining, guys. We've got another classic live album war coming up later on today, so you don't want to miss it. All right, we've also got one coming up with Mr. JY himself, Jeff Young. You don't want to miss that one either, so all sorts of stuff happening. Also, be sure to tune in on Tuesday night. Jeff's Music Without Boundaries show. I will be guest hosting. It's all about instrumental music, part 2. All right, so Jeff and I will be spinning lots of great instrumental tunes to satisfy and scintillate your senses. All right. All sorts of great musicianship and great melodies. You don't need vocals to make a great song, right? There's plenty of great instrumental tunes out there. We're going to be spinning a whole bunch for you. And, of course, lots of great music discussion as well. So don't miss that. JeffYoungJams.com. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. We'll see you guys again tomorrow. Later today first, but then again tomorrow with more classic live album wars. We've got top 10 songs coming up this week. Steve Keeler's going to be in the house later this week as well. So all sorts of stuff happening. You don't want to miss any of it. Stay tuned, and I'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.